Kat Von D has an unexpected connection to Paris Hilton, and she just made a bombshell claim about the terrible event that connects them about a month after Von D shuttered her tattoo parlor. Kat Von D has expressed gratitude to Paris Hilton for giving her the guts to speak up about her traumatic experience at Provo Canyon School, the same school where Hilton claimed she was abused as a kid. On Monday, the tattoo artist disclosed in a lengthy Instagram video that she was transferred to the Utah boarding school at the age of 15 and was shut up for half a year without ever seeing the sun. In a 23-minute video, Von D thanked Hilton for beginning the dialogue about these torturous boarding schools and invited viewers to watch her documentary, This is Paris, to learn more about them. I spent those 6 painful months of my adolescence only to leave with serious PTSD and other traumas owing to the uncontrolled, unethical, and abusive protocols of the school, Von D began her caption on the video. Please take a moment to watch at Paris Hilton's documentary #ThisIsParis and follow at Break and Code Silence to witness other survivor stories and better grasp the atrocities of the troubled teen industry and the damage it causes not just to the kids but to the families, she continued. During the poignant video, Von D describes her experience at Provo Canyon School, revealing that she encountered comparable scenarios to those described by Hilton. Watching Hilton talk about some of her past trauma going to the school that her parents sent her to as a teenager, I don't like to call them schools because they are not schools. They're effing lockdown facilities. It just triggered so much shit for me because it turns out I went to the same school, she admitted. I was transferred to the same facility when I was 15, and I spent my 16th birthday there, she went on. I stayed there for a total of 6 months, and they were without a doubt the most painful 6 months of my life. Von D revealed that she, too, was kidnapped in the middle of the night from her bed before being carried to Utah and blindfolded throughout the drive to the boarding school. I had no clue I'd end myself locked for 6 months in this very weird, painful, dreadful situation, she said. Von D began going to therapy after 6 months at Provo Canyon and began to open up. At this facility, there was verbal, emotional, physical, and sometimes sexual assault. I despise the thought that there is someone else out there who can relate to my situation because I would never want this on anyone. I grew up in a really conservative household, and I believe my parents were concerned about me. It raised a lot of red flags for them, and I believe they were just frightened that I was heading down the wrong path once I started listening to punk rock music and appearing a little different from all the other kids at school or church. Von D told her audience, I began tattooing after dropping out of high school. Von D later documented her stay there, including a humiliating strip search conducted by workers who may or may not have been qualified for such a security measure. There were almost no windows everywhere. All I could see through the tiny windows they did have was snow outside. I quickly realized that I needed to work the system and get out as soon as possible. The artist also mentioned the school force-feeding medication, which Hilton also mentioned. While Von D claimed she was scared of sexual and physical abuse, she certainly saw it during her stay at school. Von D thanked Hilton again at the end of the video for all you were doing and for allowing her to talk frankly about her experience. Hilton discusses the alleged abuse she underwent at the Utah boarding school in This is Paris, a nearly 2-hour film directed by Emmy-winning director Alexandra Dean, and how her trauma has carried over into adulthood. Hilton said that she and her peers were subjected to physical and emotional abuse in the institution, as well as being given mysterious medications on a regular basis. She claimed that when she refused to take them, she was placed in a solitary confinement without clothing for up to 20 hours at a time. In an interview with People this summer, Hilton stated that she has no plans to seek legal redress at this time. Instead, she is focused on raising awareness about other so-called behavior improvement schools, which she claims continue to use the kind of physical and verbal abuse she endured for so long as a practice. I want these places to close down, Hilton stated. I want them to answer for their actions, and I want to be a voice for other children and now adults who have experienced similar situations. I want it to stop for good, and I will do all in my power to make that happen. And with that being said, it's time to end our video. Have you ever faced such a situation in school? Let us know in the comments. Like this video and make sure to subscribe to the channel for more amazing videos like this. We'll see you in the next video.